Hey guys, my name is Rain and welcome to my first ever art vlog. Kinda. So, I made this stamp, basically my signature, and I made a miniature version of it, and I couldn't really carve the fish on the smaller one since it was too small and it's kind of difficult. And I got a letter from my friend from France, and it was basically just her drawing of me. So she basically did all this drawing on Twitter for free, and I said you should be charging them. So I decided to buy the drawing she did for me, and it was supposed to be only one, but she sent me another one, and it was so nice of her. So we're gonna start off with an art haul because I wanna experiment more with my art, and this coming month I want to challenge myself to try different things, different mediums. So you might be thinking, why is a cutting board an art supply? So I don't really have the glass where you slab the ink for block printing, so I'm gonna use that instead, and it's so much cheaper than getting a glass. I also bought this plastic craft to make some earrings. I want to make earrings, and you basically just put it in the oven and it's gonna shrink. And this is just a decoration, it's not really an art supply. Sometimes I use these as patches for denim jacket, hole puncher, and since I opened my shop and I am offering a 13 by 19 prints, I decided to buy these cutters, and I usually buy a lot of them because Daiso usually is out of stock, and when they're in stock I just like buy 2 or 3, and when I saw that they have a bigger one I just had to buy it. And another cutting boards, so I've never worked with wood before and I want to try painting on them, and instead of buying a wood panel I wanted to try out painting on these instead, since they're kind of the cheaper option. And it's just a sumi ink. I'm gonna use this to refill ink for my stamp pad. Instead of buying a $5 refill ink, I'm just gonna use this $1.50. Yeah, we are cheap like that. And now let's not talk about being cheap, since this is kind of more on the expensive side of art supplies. So I also, on the same day, I went to Blix, and there are art supply store that offers so many varieties of products, and I decided to actually buy a barren now to make printing at home easier and printing by hand. I also bought some linoleum, and it's kind of funny how I released the block printing video first using these products before actually posting this vlog. It should have been the other way around, but yeah. I also bought some Prismacolor because we're tired of using Crayola color pencil, and I want to try something that actually blends well and to experiment more with it. And I bought some watercolor tubes, and we're being kinda art hype bees, if that's a thing, because we getting branded things, and I mean, like, you're basically a hype beast but art version, if that makes sense. And I just bought some printmaking sketch pads, paper, and watercolor paper as well. I'm just really excited to use these products, and yeah, to try out things that are more branded, more on the expensive side, because I usually work on student grade levels art supplies. If you watch my recent video about patches, you would know that I usually apply a thin layer of Mod Podge on my patches in order for the fabric to not fray and to just make them more durable when putting them on the denim. And here I'm just drying them out and hanging so that the glue won't dry up on whatever surface it is in. Since the acrylic paint that I usually work with when working with denim is always out, I wanted to try out different swatches of different brand of acrylic in order to have more choices when buying acrylic. And I'm just trying out different brands. I also bought these Posca looking pens from Daiso, and I want to see if they are waterproof and if they were gonna wash off when you wash them. And these I just bought, I believe, 3 different brand from Deco Art, Folk Art, and Delta. I do know that Folk Art works really well on fabric since I usually use some folk art paints, but I usually work with Basics by Liquitex, and they're usually out. I feel like a lot of people just use them because they are really nice acrylic. So I'm gonna talk about my denim commissions this period. So after I posted that one or did that one jacket of fan art, that's all I've been getting for commissions, just bunch of fan arts, and I didn't really get any original art requests. So for the next commission period, I'm probably gonna not do fan arts anymore and just do more of original art or inspired by something, a character, but more on my stylized art. And I just wanted to play around with this marker and to see how well they work, and they are kind of nice, but I haven't really used Posca pens before to know and to compare, because these are $1.50 from Daiso, and I feel like that's a good price because Posca pens are probably much more expensive than that. And these markers are actually not acrylic base because Posca pens are acrylic base marker. These are gouache, and I believe this is probably gonna wash out since gouache is water soluble. And now that these are dried out, I'm just going to cut these out and package them and send them to my client. And I actually got a few Uchiha requests for this commission period, which is not a bad thing since I'm a fan of Naruto, and I feel like Uchiha are a really cool clan with such cool designs and concept. So I waited at least 24 hours to dry this off, and I'm just gonna wash them with soap and water to see if they will come off with excessive brushing, and none of them actually came off except for the Posca marker. It's not a Posca marker, it's a Posca wannabe marker that is wash base, and that's why it washed off. It means that I can use all this acrylic for denim painting, for any fabric painting. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that if you want to use any acrylic for your painting, for your fabric painting, denim customization, and you should do swatches first in order to know that if it's gonna wash out or not. And finally, onto the earrings, and I'm so excited to work with these because I've been wanting to try this out for the longest. And I got this idea of using or doing the eyes for earrings. Isn't that a cool idea? Like, I wanted to do the Sharingan eyes and the Rinnegan eyes, and the colors kind of came off kind of really faded. I feel like I should have used color pencil instead, but using the marker, like, the material was soaking up the thing, that's why it was so translucent, and even after baking them, as you can tell here, they are kind of as round as it started. And even applying markers after it dried out, the material was still soaking it. And I did this for my friend for a commission. She wanted me to paint the pot Spirited Away kind of theme and just working more on jackets. I said before, this is the other Uchiha denim commission that I did. And yeah, I'm just setting these up with a flat iron in a really hot setting in order to set some paints and to flatten it out. And I do apply a Mod Podge sealer in order to make it more durable. And if you've been following me on all my social media, I finally opened my art shop. Yay! Can we get a clap? I'm just kidding. So I'm basically just working out the art pieces in order to fit the certain sizes, and these I'm trying to work them out to fit a 4x6 paper since they're kind of weird dimensions. Because before I didn't really think about dimensions that well, I would just like work on random canvas sizes, and now that I know how print works, I work more on your regular sizes: A4, A3, 11 by 17 inches, and so forth. And these prints came out looking so nice. And also I've decided for my packaging that I will not or try to use less plastic or no plastic at all, because like I don't want to use product that isn't really needed in order to make the packaging more appealing. So I don't want to use plastic or other stuff like tissue papers, bubble wraps. Instead, for the smaller prints, 8.5 by 11 and smaller, I'm gonna use a envelope that I made from recycled materials. In that way, it's more sustainable. We're not using excess things, so we're not buying new things from the store. We're making things out of things that is seem to be trashed by others, but still useful. And I actually enjoyed making these, and it gives off a unique touch to all the packages, since all the packages are gonna have different envelopes, and it looks really nice. And I do put a cardboard inside, and the cardboard is also from recycled boxes, and that way it's more sturdier, because if you think about it, just a book page isn't gonna hold that print sturdy enough, so you have to put at least a cardboard in there. And for the larger prints, I'm just making these boxes, and these are so much easier to use than tubes, because usually larger prints are packaged in tubes, but if you're the one receiving that, it's kind of hard to pull out from the tube. The print is probably going to be damaged if you try to nitpicky it, but with these boxes it'll be easier to take out your prints, and there's really no other way of shipping larger prints than rolling them out, and this is basically the only way. And you bought the scale from Amazon. It's like $10. It's just to have more of an accurate way of the boxes and the envelopes. In that way, I can have a proper prices for my print labels and not get undercharged or overcharged. And the jackets are not packaged using a handmade boxes, since I use priority mail boxes, since these are probably cheaper than the one you're creating your own. Making everything yourself does take a lot of time, but it's worth it since it's more sustainable, and I'm having fun making them. And I just wanted to buy more block printing ink, and I wanted to try this fabric ink, and I was kind of contemplating, should I buy the block printing ink or the fabric ink, because block printing ink is basically an ink that you can use on fabric as well, and you get more when you buy block printing ink. So, but I still bought the fabric block printing ink since I want to try that out. And another art haul, because why not? So I just bought more inks, and I want to try varnish. I've never tried varnish before, and I see those videos on Twitter, social media, when artists like varnish their things, and it just like pops out the image so much, and I just want to try that. And to me, it just makes it glossy, which is kind of nice touch if you're into that, but sometimes you just want that matte look. And you can see here I am using that cutting board as a ink slab for my block printing, and I'm trying out the fabric ink, and it kind of turned out nice. And you still have to wet I figured out that I still have to wet the fabric in order for the print to like really transfer. It's just so hard printing these by hand, since if you guys have any tips on how to get a cleaner print with block printing using your hand, any tools that can help to get like a really clean flat print, then please let me know. I'd love to learn how. I also use books, old books, to test out the design, because I don't really want to use or waste printmaking paper. And when I'm ready to print it on the printmaking paper, that's usually when I use it. But for test prints, I usually use old books. Anyways, this video is ending soon, and if you're still here, then thank you so much. It's almost 18 minutes, and yeah, this isn't really a vlog, it's more of a compilation of different videos, and I hope to get better at vlogging, and because I'm not really used to doing vlogging art. But yeah, I hope you stay more in tune for future videos, and thank you again if you're staying here. You can reach me out in all my social media, and thank you, bye.